What did you attribute that at that time that you were feeling at least a little better? You were at that place that you could take this trip?
Because I took ownership of my health.
Okay.
And how I wanted to experience life.
Okay.
I was not going to let that depression win and keep me on the couch and from experiencing a dream trip. Did I have to work hard to pay for it, to plan it, to be ready to experience it at my best self? Yeah, but choose your hard.
Yes.
It was hard to make all that happen, but it was certainly better than just...
Again to our podcast.
So we're here. Now what?
All right. Yes. Finding the answers of the issues of the day and digging sometimes deep into the root of the problem. Again, we're here talking with our good friend and neighbor. We call her neighbor, even though we're not in the same neighborhood.
Always neighbors.
Stacy. Yeah, always neighbors. Stacy, and we've been dealing with some painful issues in life, your story. And I really want to thank you for sharing with us, for being open in this life. Sometimes people think that everything is so great. You're looking great. Life is good, right? Wrong. And we know that out there today, perhaps is somebody, they might find themselves in the same situation. We have cut this podcast to 3 episodes, and you can check them at our channel. One of the things that it's important, even sometimes when you don't know what to do, and when you're dealing with depression in these situations, is to knock at the door of somebody. And even though it might be difficult to open, because some people are not going to really understand, but there might be somebody out there that might want to just listen. And so you might know somebody that is going through some situations. You might have seen some changes in somebody, and you might want to just be there. Good friends, right? Good family, right? But it's not so much that. It's what are you going to do when you know about somebody that is dealing with some situations? When you don't see this person for a few days, and that person doesn't come out anymore, and that person is not laughing anymore, and even at work, you see this sadness. You see nah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go out. What are you going to do about it? Now, I'm going to encourage you that if you have some of these issues with depression or sadness, or, it's important that you take some steps to be healthy. It might take for you to not be proud or scared, afraid, but come out and talk to somebody and say, hey, can we go out for coffee? Can we go out for a walk? Take the courage. And I know that it's difficult sometimes, but sometimes it's also pride or being afraid. So I want to encourage you today, and I know that Stacy wants to encourage you today, that find a way out. Find a way out when you get into this situation. So Stacy, take it away. I'm excited to hear. I know that we were talking about these issues of what you were going through, and depression and menopause, etc. All those things that women deal with that men do not understand. And I hope that we men would understand more. But it's just right now the way it is. I have to say this, that there are some married men that cannot understand why. And I'm going to tell you why. You need to get into it and try to understand your wife, to try to understand them. And I don't ask you to put yourself in that situation because you wouldn't know what to do with it. But try to be understanding. take some lessons, do some research on how you can aid. Sometimes you just have to plow through together. And so this is for married men. Watch out. There's going to be tough times, but you signed for it, for better or for worse. So get it done. And so with all that said, sister, bring us now into what's going on after you've gone through this, and
Okay.
where do we go?
Yeah. So we leave the late 40s behind with the West Nile virus and the menopause and all of that fun stuff. So that's when COVID-19 entered the world.
Yes.
I guess that's one way to say it.
Yes.
And so I believe we all came out of that with some new mental health awareness. So I actually, during that time, did a really good job of taking care of myself, even in that extra isolation. I mean, I've always lived alone, but that created additional isolation. But I did a really good job of taking care of myself. And that's when I decided it was time to make a dream come true.
Okay.
So I had been talking with a friend about traveling to Italy just before COVID hit. And so that got put on hold, obviously, for a couple of years. But I was ready to just not put things on hold anymore. And so I worked really hard to make sure that by the time I took that trip, I was feeling my best.
Okay.
I really worked hard with my nutrition and my fitness, and just the anticipation of something to look forward to can do a lot for your mental health.
How long did it take you to plan that trip?
We planned for 10 solid months. I mean,
Really?
it was fun. I
bet it
had a
was.
great time. So, at that point, I would say I wouldn't say I was thriving, but I was in the best place I had been physically and mentally in a really long time.
What did you attribute that at that time that you were feeling at least a little better? You were at that place that you could take this trip?
Because I took ownership of my
Okay.
health
Okay.
and how I wanted to experience life.
Okay.
I was not going to let that depression win and keep me on the couch and from experiencing a dream trip. Did I have to work hard to pay for it, to plan it, to be ready to experience it at my best self? Yeah, but choose your hard.
Yes.
It was hard to make all that happen, but it was certainly better than just not.
But it was good to have a good friend, wasn't it?
It was, yes. So I got to do everything on my dream trip bucket list and then some. So I experienced all the highs on this trip. And I do have a photo that Hugo may be able to edit in here to show you from that trip where I'm thriving and really experiencing my best life. This Italy trip, though, is very difficult to describe to people because although it was my dream trip and I checked off all the bucket list items, it was a really difficult trip physically, mentally, and emotionally. When your flight is delayed from day one for 24 hours and then you fly overseas, you're sleep deprived. I was sleep deprived about 36 hours. Wow. To start the trip, and there was no downtime. We were up from 5 a.m. most days till midnight, and we walked about 8 to 10 miles each day. So physically, there was a lot of activity. We did not leave one thing undone, not one thing, and that was the problem. We could have backed off a little bit on all of that. So we're running on adrenaline for 2 solid weeks.
Yes.
I mean, 2 weeks in Italy was a beautiful thing.
Yes.
But at the end of those 2 weeks, this dream trip was eclipsed by COVID-19.
Not
Yes.
again.
This is the first time I experienced COVID.
Okay.
So what a bummer.
Oh.
But at the time, there were restrictions in place
Yes.
that required you to test for it before returning to the States. And obviously, with a positive test, you were not allowed to return. So immediately after they, officials came to test us, as we expected them to, the door was shut on our hotel room, and they said, "Don't come out. Our front desk is about 40 feet from your room. We can see if you come out of your room."
You were in jail in Italy.
Yes.
Sort of,
and it, we all know Italy really took a hit.
Yes.
So we were not, all at the same time, we were their least favorite guests.
Yes.
And we were their most important guests.
Yes.
They took really good care of us. They brought the toilet paper to the outside window of our room because we were out on a little balcony there.
Okay.
We couldn't walk out to the balcony. There was just a window. But yeah, most things were delivered to the window. But nobody could tell us how long we would be quarantined. If we would even have, our room was only booked for that night. So we had to figure out where we were going to be the next day. And then 2 days later, and then 2 days later, you have to cancel your flights, your drivers to get you to your flight. There was a lot of work to be done logistically.
Yes.
On top of now that you've been tested for this virus and tested positive, and the symptoms were mild, but then I think that's when it hit, because all of a sudden, no more activity. We were in this room, nothing to do, nowhere to go. And that's really when we started to feel the effects of 2 weeks being sleep deprived and all that physical activity and the virus symptoms. And here's how much walking we did. My pinky toes were numb for 3 months. How does that happen? Anyway, but so physically we're dealing with this virus. Mentally, we're just trying to keep it together. We're in a foreign country, and we tested positive for 7 full days.
Oh, my.
So, you can't plan any way to get home until you know you're going to test
Yes.
negative. So a lot of stressors happened at that time.
Do you have internet
Yes.
and TV?
Yes.
In Italian.
One TV in Italian. I think we watched, there was one show we watched in English every night. I don't even think we liked the show, but it was English, so we watched it. I can't remember what it was. But during that week, it was a full 7 days. I kept it together. I kind of let my travel partner do the roller coaster of emotions, ups and downs. But I tell you what, then on the way home, when we finally got our way home, we were routed to Germany and stranded there for 24 hours. So all we wanted at that point was just to get home. And it took both of us to keep each other moving forward.
Yes.
I tell you what, when we landed in Chicago, I cried.
Oh,
I cried. I'm
Do you
sitting
kiss-
in my plane
Do you
seat.
kiss the ground?
I almost. The lady sitting next to me who I didn't know was just talking away, and I'm just crying, thinking, can't she see that I'm crying? I don't want to talk right now. But I was just so happy to be home. I felt like at that point that I was home.
Yes.
and could get home.
Yes.
So there's another photo that I have for you that you can show your viewers at this point that shows me at rock bottom.
Definitely.
I went from thriving in a matter of a week to rock bottom. So quite an experience. And it's 2 years later now, after my Italy trip, where I'm just coming around to really being in love with the trip.
Okay.
That experience at the end of the trip really tainted it for me. But now I can look back at it and for the wonderful experiences that I had.
Yes.
Anyway, for that following year, that next year, coming back, I had about 32 hours where I had just gotten home and had to go back to work. All my vacation time had been used. I didn't have sick time. So I slept for 24 hours solid when I got back. I went back to work, and I was jet lagged. I was just no recovery time. And in the next several months, my ability to just function declined severely. I experienced not just fatigue that I'd had for 20 some years, but debilitating fatigue. I then began to experience anxiousness in a way I've never had before, while driving, while working, going into social situations, and overwhelm. My home began to overwhelm me. I could not take care of my home. I couldn't take care of myself. And then because I couldn't take care of my home, there's visual clutter everywhere. And I like lists, and I couldn't check anything off my list. So I called.
You were not able to find your list.
So I called friends and family, and I am blessed with people who came to help me. They came and helped me with my home.
Where were your neighbors?
My neighbors had moved at that point, but you know what? That is, talk about timing, Hugo. So I needed help maintaining my home. I had meltdowns at work, 3 specifically that I can remember, and I missed family and friends activities. But I don't know if it was specifically at this point in time, but it was within this time frame.
Okay.
I don't know if you will remember this. I'll have to ask Judy if she remembers this, because it involves both of you.
Okay.
There was a day I was crumpled up on the couch, and probably had been that way for a couple days over the weekend, not functioning. And I thought, I just need to walk to the mailbox, just check the mail, just get off this couch and do something. I probably hadn't showered or changed clothes in several days. And my first and foremost thought was, even though I'm just going 2 houses down to check the mailbox, I do not want to be seen. I don't want to see anyone. And that was just, I don't want to be seen, right? A neighbor walking past on the sidewalk or driving by. But anyway, I make my way out to the mailbox, and I hear a car coming behind me on the street. And before I soon realized they're not just coming down the street, they're pacing me as I walk. This car is pacing me, and I'm thinking, oh, great, they're going to the mailbox too. Just didn't want to see anybody. I just didn't want to deal. Not only was this car going to the mailbox, it was you and Judy specifically stopping to say hello to me, because we're friends and neighbors, and we hadn't seen each other for a while, and you were your usual friendly selves, and I was so embarrassed. I just was embarrassed, and I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to talk to you, but I didn't want to not talk to you. I don't even know what the conversation was. I was just in avoidance mode.
Yeah.
And I've always remembered that.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. Because I left going back to the house thinking, what must they be thinking about what kind of interaction we just had? Because I know I didn't interact with you like I would if I was me, really me, feeling like me. Yeah. And so
we didn't, just so that you know, we didn't think nothing of it, because we know you, and we know that whatever it was, it was at least, it was good to talk to you.
Yeah.
Didn't matter.
And so, but I'll just never forget thinking, really? I mean, talk about timing, though. Somehow.
We were watching you,
Yeah.
The moment we saw you going down, we're going to go get her now.
So anyway, I survived that encounter, right?
Yes.
But it was it's very descriptive of just how my everyday was at that point in time. Yeah. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to get out. I didn't want to experience anything or anyone, and I was embarrassed when I had to. So at that point, I needed help. I had lost. I didn't have joy anymore. It just nowhere to find joy and hope. That's the biggest thing I realized I had lost. And throughout my life, even though it didn't go on a linear path like I expected to. I always found myself thinking, well, what's next? But at this point in time, there was nothing. I didn't even expect anything else. There was no next. At this point, I was thinking, is this how the rest of my life is going to be?
Okay.
And that's where, I was at my lowest low. There was no more hope. There wasn't anything I could think of to look forward to.
Yeah.
And I was crumpled on my couch through a whole year here now. I had tried hormone therapy. Didn't do much. Just created some more side effects to deal with, right?
Okay.
But you just push through, you show up and hope you can do a little better each day. And you tell yourself that my best is good enough, no matter what that is. But about a year ago from now, I was crumpled on the couch, just scrolling the social media. And I see a post from a friend of mine. I'd seen these posts before, but just ignored them. It was a friend who is a functional medicine practitioner. Okay. And she says, I'm looking for 5 people who I'd like to help this month. Who's it going to be? And of course, she had a before and after photo of herself and the changes that she had experienced. And I didn't even think twice. I'm just like, I got nothing to lose. My doctors haven't helped me. I had even been to a specialist in the past year that was once part of the presidential physicians team. So I thought, well, if he can't help me, nobody can, right? So anyway.
One of those lies.
Yeah, one of those. He even said, well, I don't usually do family practice. I don't know how to help you. So we'll stop there with that. But I signed up with my friend, and you know what? It was so simple.
Yeah.
She started me on an 8-week nutrition program.
Nutrition.
Yeah.
Yes.
Imagine that. Right?
Yes.
Just cleaning up your diet.
Cleaning it up.
I lost 20 to 25 pounds in 6 weeks. My alertness returned. I was ready and excited about some social activities that were coming up that summer. And I felt good. All of a sudden, I felt like I looked good because I felt good.
Yes, yes.
And this was just the start, right? At this point, I'm just cleaning up my nutrition. And I'm about 6 weeks into that when she introduces me to a line of supplements.
Okay.
That she had just learned about, but was then incorporating into her functional medicine practice and adding to this nutrition journey. And at this point, I trusted her. I thought, wow, if what she's done for me in just 6 weeks has made more difference than in the last 20 some years, sure, sign me up. I didn't ask questions. I didn't know what it was. Yes. In 1 week after starting these supplements, I noticed a difference. My energy was really different. And I started using the word vitality. Not just energy, but I had a vitality back that I didn't even remember if I'd ever had before. I didn't even know. I kind of was like, well, who am I? This is new. This is a new way to go through my day and experience life. So I was getting excited about life again. I had that hope back and that joy, even to the point where I went and I got a tattoo that it's a musical, it's got music symbols in it, but if you read it one way, it says hope. If you read it the other way, it says joy. I mean, it really marks a time in my life, literally.
Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful.
So this was unexpected, this return to health, and it was life-changing, clearly. And I went from surviving to thriving. And now, Hugo, here's my favorite part of your podcast where you ask.
So we're here now what?
Yes, so we're here now what? And my alarm just went off at that time. That's crazy. So we are here now what?
Good music. It's all right. Just, I should have done something in here. We have those.
I mean, it's exciting, right? We're here now what? So,
or we should do perhaps this one.
It's all good.
All right. All right.
we're here now. What I have learned that my life and my health journey obviously do not move in a straight line. And that is what I want anybody watching to know about your health journey. When you start, even when you start and you find a way to improve your health, it will not go in a straight line.
Okay.
Part of healing is going through detox symptoms that feel like the old symptoms.
Yes.
So, here's where that line zigzags a little bit. About a month into this new vitality, I got my second round of COVID.
Oh.
And I tell you what a disappointment. And it hit me harder physically that second time than it had the first time. So, but I can't imagine how much more difficult it would have been to recover if I hadn't already been working
That's true.
on my health and experienced that renewed vitality. And that comes from, so I, not only did I start taking the supplements, but I started working with the company as a brand partner. The company's name is Amare, and their supplements, they're leading the mental health revolution.
Okay.
They are the mental health company and the mental wellness company, I should say. They are the first mental wellness company that focuses on the gut-brain axis communication.
Okay.
Which I'd never heard of. But the products address your symptoms at the root cause. I would never have guessed all of my physical symptoms had any relation to my mental health, right? It's all connected. It's all connected on that gut-brain axis. So I'm learning a lot. And I want other people who are struggling to have that resource. I want to be that resource for people.
Definitely.
I want them to know that there is hope, there is joy. They can regenerate their nervous system and rebalance their hormones and motivation. It is amazing the motivation I have that I've not had for years. So my energy's increased, my motivation has increased, my mood clearly has increased, my metabolism has increased. Throughout all these years of toxicity, though, with my mental health and physical health, I'm working through weight loss resistance.
Okay.
We all know a lot of people who struggle with weight loss.
Yes.
And it's not because they're not doing anything wrong. They're doing all the right things. But until you address the root cause and remove all of the toxins, your body's going to hang on to that weight.
Yes.
So that's where I'm on a zigzag. I'm working through that weight loss resistance. But boy, when I get there, it's going to drop. And I'm excited.
You know, it's that thing, garbage in, garbage out. And sometimes it takes time.
It does. I was told, I believe it's for every year that your body has been in a toxic state, it will take 1 month of work to reverse it.
Yes.
So I'm looking at maybe a 2-year stretch. A lot of people are going to give up long before that.
Yes.
I am not.
Good for you.
I am not.
Yes.
I am not going to I'm ready to live and experience life like it should be. And that's what I want other people to be able to do.
You came to that. To do that decision.
Absolutely.
And I think that you found some of that root of that problem, and you made a decision to come out of it. You click like to this person that you knew, you got in touch, you took a step of faith, and here we are today. And it's wonderful to see. I see you on Facebook, and I see what you're doing. You seem excited all the time, promoting whatnot. One of the things I have to tell you out there that we are not promoting anything. It's just what Stacy is taking, and it's okay. You can send us an email in our podcast. You can check it out. So now what? At Google, is that correct? It's right there in our podcast channel at gmail.com. So now what at gmail.com. Send us your comments if you want to get in touch with Stacy, and be glad to get you in touch so that you can perhaps learn about this particular supplements and whatnot.
Yes, it's for men, women, and kids. I mean,
Yes.
we all need better mental health.
Yes.
And it's amazing how that affects our physical health. And like I said, I'm still learning a lot about the products and
Yes.
the science behind them and how
Yes.
they help people.
Yes.
But my testimony about my life and quality of life
Yes.
change
Yes.
in just a few months speaks volumes.
That's-
And I hope anybody who hears it and needs just information and
Yes.
help
Yes.
knows that it's out there.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, Stacy, this is wonderful to hear your story, and only because I have gone through stages of depression, etc. It's no fun. I cannot say, well, I am sorry that you went through that, because the truth of the matter is that you had to go through it. Me saying sorry isn't going to help you a bit.
It's life.
But it's part of life, and it is a way out. It is you finding out, digging, finding out what the issue is. Yeah, it might take a little time, but you get there. There is hope in all of this. There is hope. And that is what we want to encourage you to get help. Okay, go see a doctor. Go talk to a friend. Go talk to your pastor. Go to church. Find some good friends. Make an effort, because nobody is going to get you out of there.
Exactly.
You have to take that step of faith and leap out and find it. The other alternative is perhaps to get worse and worse and worse. Never be happy. And I know, for what I know in the situations of depression, sometimes I can take your life. Don't be afraid to call somebody, to tell somebody how you feel. And, again, you contact us, give us your comments. We'll be glad to give you more information and whatnot. Again, this is our story. This is Stacy's story. Really appreciate you taking the time, sharing with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for
in our podcast.
asking me.
And maybe we can check again and here not too long from now to see how things are going.
That would be great. And because I just wanted to finish on one more
Sure.
point. This change in my health has changed my outlook for my future. My entire future looks different now than I thought it would look a year ago.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
So I want
But to see you, to see that spark in your eye, that is wonderful.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
We are hoping for the best for you, and
Thank you.
we're pulling for you. We're praying for you.
Thank you.
It is wonderful to hear your story, to see your story, because I remember seeing some of those pictures and in Italy, and I didn't know a lot of that, what you went through, the spiral and all of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't know.
No.
But now we know it, and now we are here, and now we move through with hope.
Yes.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Hugo.
it. Well, everybody else, you know what to do. I don't have to remind you that if you like this program, if you like this channel, you know what to do. We'll see you in the next one. And that is in the...
So we're here now. What?
That is correct. So we're here now, what podcast? Finding the answers of the issues of today. God bless you. Ciao.
Ciao. That was a good